resistance to cast all into the Shroud. First Gate, Legend of the Shroud, is a new TTRPG supplement. Brought to you by Biscuit Tin RPG.
Welcome to Biscuit Tin RPG, everybody. Apologies on the delayed start. One of our players I don't know. I hope she's okay. Maybe she'll show up as a surprise in the middle of this session. But here we are with Red to Black. So thank you for joining us. We are on session 12. The fun thing is you all get to hear an ad-libbed, like it's not always anyway, recap of the last session, because the person who was supposed to be here that isn't here was also supposed to do the recap. So I'm going to assume too many pocket brownies. A fight broke out. The brownies really kicked in hard. Riva must have taken a bunch of brownies because she was buffering for a solid, like, 15 seconds.
It's
And then
canonical that Riva
immediately
eats too many brownies.
eats too many brownies. And 86th Kelzer. So we are rejoining the Red to Black crew as they've all kind of gone back to Benny's in order to kind of I don't know, recoup, decide what they're going to do next. Currently, the Sovereign is nowhere to be seen. She was turned to ash and disappeared from the battlefield. They can only assume that she is waiting to come back. So, without further ado, we'll rejoin each and every one of you at Benny's, sitting around Benny's kitchen table. Dinner's already been had, and yeah, there you are. Boop. Go team.
Reva, that was fucking insane.
I had a lot of pent-up anger over the last few days. I can't tell you how cathartic it was just unload.
I feel as though I actually need to ask permission on this one because that was such an iconic moment. Can I write a song about that?
I would be honored for a song to be written about me. It's been a while. I don't get that many offers. So
And you don't have a pocket bard. Well, you didn't have a pocket bard anymore, but now you've got me back. On that bright and shiny note, I think we should carry this positive momentum forward.
you want to go murder Dorian?
Not yet. Not yet. That is on the agenda eventually, probably, but at current point, not yet. However, the funny thing about kings is they think they can't be chess pieces. And I think he could play right into our hand and help us find Lacroix. We get Dorian's help to track down Lacroix, to handle Lacroix's forces, while we get the joy of ripping Lacroix's throat out. All of us, obviously, not just any one person. And we reassess from there.
Okay. Note, maybe. I'm personally little worried about the Monarch. I know she got ashed, but don't we think we should try to find where she is? I know there's a bunch of people out there looking for her, but
I can probably tell you where she is, but it's not anywhere we can go.
yes, but she'll come back down here eventually, right? Because you did too.
Eventually. But I got back here so quickly because I walked up to a holy man and stood there while he smited me.
Is it smited or smote?
I'm not sure. I would ask Issa, but unfortunately I'm not able to.
I mean, I can pull that face back up if it'll make you feel better about it.
I think it might be smoted.
Is it smoted?
I
Do you think
so.
I would know more about this because, words, but...
So.
Point being, we don't know when she's going to be back down here, and we'd need to track down Dorian first, and, well, my idea for tracking down Dorian also means we can keep an eye out for Ashton.
I mean,
okay.
both do feel helpful.
I'm just worried about her. She clearly has a target on her back, and it seems like they're gonna go try to find her.
Well,
she'd be extremely useful as somebody who's kidnapped by the opposing side.
Yes, it is the ruler.
Hear me out on this. My intent is to talk to Dorian, and not to sound arrogant, but I'm quite persuasive. My intent is to make Dorian's focus fully shit. I mean, if we have him focused on Lacroix, especially if we play into that old nemesis vibe between them, then that's less negative forces looking for Ashlyn. Gives Ashlyn time to recoup.
Well, that's the thing. I have a really deep gut feeling that their nemesis rivalry thing is not quelled after they murdered each other. I think maybe him trying to take the city is not like a refocus of his views or goals. It may be just a new step to his plan. He wants to take this place to be king here so that he can then force Lacroix out of undeath or afterlife, I think he's...
Oh, absolutely. But you also have to consider who the fuck killed Lacroix the first time. Granted, we are missing some of our friends, but there's at least two of us here who were part of killing Lacroix the very first time he died. And if we're willing to work with him, I just think we should give it a go. And I do fully believe that I can play it in a way that if Dorian doesn't agree with us and doesn't want to work with us, we will still have the opportunity to walk away. He's not going to attack us on his own ground if I make sure to toe the right lines.
I trust you. I'm maybe it's a little too worried that walking right into their hands. But if you think you got it handled, then I'll put my faith in you. You usually know how to talk your way into things. I'm not gonna underestimate you. I
And
also
Riva,
like
I
underestimating the enemy either.
offer you this as well. I'm going to be frankly fucking honest. From what Fate told me, he's on my shit list too. I don't intend on letting either of them wreak havoc down here. So, you know, we'll get to him. At one point or another. We will handle him.
Okay. Do you have a plan we want to talk out, or are you just gonna go in and we sort of are we going in with you? Is this a solo plan?
It can be. My hope is that when we find where Dorian is, we approach whatever the entrance may be, gates or just a guarded entryway, whatever it may be. I ask for an audience. I ask for us all to be allowed to the audience, but it may just be me. And I try to talk him into seeing our side of things.
I might be misremembering, but were we told that Dorian was like at the gates or something like that? Like they're coming towards the city? John?
Sorry, what was the question?
Were we told that Dorian was approaching us, like the city?
No. As of right now, the only thing you knew is that Dorian and at least a retinue of his forces had made it inside the city, but after Kelzir accomplished her mission and then was subsequently ashed, they left. And no
Okay.
one, you haven't talked to anybody about where they've gone, you haven't done any investigation, so you're not sure where they are. But they
Okay.
could be hidden inside the city. They might have left.
So do we want to do a recon, try to find them outside the city, or do you want to go try to get in contact with that one woman who was going to give you the stuff for Scry?
I'd say we should go get the scry stuff first and see if we can figure out what word on the street is as far as if they've been seen. Because if they're in the city, that's going to make tracking them down a lot easier than just wandering the fields.
We actually don't need to go anywhere for the scry materials. She's having someone bring me everything she promised me in the morning.
So we'd have to wait till tomorrow.
So we
That
would
does
have to
give
wait
us tonight to look
until-
around.
It does, and to talk to people. But I'm going to be honest. Dorian's incredibly persuasive, and I don't know if we'll know of someone who would be good to ask for this. We barely know anyone here except, well, Johan, which Augustine looks around. Is Johan there?
No. Johan hasn't been around since the feast. There's a good chance that he's gonna check in with you at some point later, but it seems like he was busy trying to help clean up the hall after the fight.
As Johan, but he might not know anything.
I think once again we might be underestimating a little bit. If they are in the city, these are a bunch of very powerful warlocks. They might just be in disguise with magic.
I
We have no
mean,
way of knowing.
that also kind of begs the question. You two had warlock packs before this, right?
I still have one.
Okay.
Technically, I believe I still have one. I just don't have any power from it.
Okay, so we have a king of warlocks down here in a place where warlock packs don't have as much power.
He holds no domain over my pact. And I think
No, I'm not saying you guys specifically. I'm saying this is a king who got most of his power from working with warlock patrons, right?
yes. He has patrons to many different.
But he's dead now, and we know that favors kind of die when we die. Are we assuming too much about his power base right now?
I think we're we don't have that information. I think that's kind of one of the issues. We don't know what he's capable of anymore, so we need to play it safe.
It also might be
That's
something
why-
worth checking around to see if what happens to warlocks down here, because none of us have bothered to really ask.
My pact feels fine. It feels about as strong as it's ever been, but you know,
I mean, are you getting anything out of it?
I kind of just make myself go invisible. Ta-da!
I don't know if being down here does impact packs, and I only say that because
I mean,
The
it has to
person I
have
made a
some matter
pact-
to it. Otherwise, when we die, our packs or our favors in the city wouldn't have mattered as well.
not necessarily, I don't think. That's more the dealings of mortals, one might say. At that point, you can't really fulfill those favors anymore. However, if you are still conscious and able to do things, you can still uphold your end of a pact with a patron. They can still contact you. I'll be frankly honest, when I made my pact, the deal was I follow through regardless of if I died or not. And it was Majin who would not have made a pact if they would completely lose out on any benefit.
That's fair. But never mind. All right.
So you're all talking, and there's a knock. There's a knock at the front door. The door's closed. Obviously, Benny's not just leaving the front door open. Benny, you hear Benny shuffle around in the background and opens the door, and she goes, "Oh, okay, yeah, they're right over here." Into the kitchen walks Johann.
Oh, speak of the
Hey,
skelly devil.
oh, I'm not a devil. I'm made of bone. I guess I get it. Bone devil. Yeah. Anyway, no. I was just coming to check in on you guys. A, thank you for the assistance. That's super awesome. And two, are you okay?
Better than ever, little skeleton man. We have a question. Have you heard any speak about where Dorian went?
Oh, I mean, I can find out. It's just probably gonna be let's see, the Nixian god are looking for him. But also so are the Pale Horsemen, but they're a little busy topside right now.
No
He
immediate
put
reports, though.
he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a couple sending stones, and he's like, one moment. And you see him sit there. He looks at one. He doesn't audibly say anything. And he looks at the other one. And he goes, we're not sure how they got in, but they were seen leaving the city heading towards Atonement Grove.
Joy.
Last we heard, there was an encampment out there between.
Yeah, wasn't that the Legionnaires' encampment?
They're kind of all over the place. Battle lines have shifted, especially since the attack. The Legionnaires sent someone into the city to try to garner support, but without the Sovereign here, they haven't made much headway.
Who is that?
Oh, what's her name? He pulls out a piece of paper, and looks through it, and he's like, what was her name? It was, nope, that's the wrong piece of paper. And he goes, no, it was, someone by the name of Alina, some title, the Brand of Truth, whatever that means. Very,
Down here, who
stoic
knows?
type.
The
But
what
yes,
of truth?
Brand of Truth.
What
Brand?
brand of truth?
I think that's just a title. I didn't see a brand on her, nor was she carrying a fire to brand people with it.
I mean, brand's also a flavor, and there's plenty of flavors of truth out there, so.
I suppose. No, she came because she thought that we had managed to apprehend Kelzer, but when she found out that Kelzer had been vanquished in the fight, She immediately requested to speak with the sovereign, and obviously we couldn't exactly say the sovereign's gone, so we just said the sovereign's busy. You know, like you do.
Oh, it's like not public knowledge that the sovereign's dead.
It's been kind of hush-hush for right now, because if that sort of information gets out, and she does come back down, there's going to be people looking for her. Right now, as far as we know, there's only one faction looking for her, outside of our own.
Is not coming back down an option for her?
I mean, not a good one. This place needs its sovereign. It's the connection to the land itself.
Yeah,
What
but
do you
what if
guys
she
do when
doesn't want?
when a sovereign dies?
A new one is appointed.
Yeah, I read that book. The sovereigns rule here for what so long as like their mortal lives, right? And then they get
Yes.
replaced.
Yes, that's exactly right. Each sovereign is replaced at the end of when their natural life would have been. And then they give themselves over to the land in order to maintain the magic. And a new sovereign takes their place.
So y'all don't have a
So-
single backup plan for if that goes awry at any point.
You don't have a vice sovereign.
No, that would
That's
create
stupid.
power struggles on a scale unimaginable. We do have a line of succession, but we can't activate that until after the sovereign is confirmed gone. And from what we've learned, or at least what I found out through various sources, she's not gone. She's just not here.
Do you guys have a general knowledge of like where people will pop up, or is she just gonna get spit out through the hole in the sky, same as everybody else?
Well, in regards to that, there are people that have a general idea on how to find her, and they will send out forces immediately. The only thing is we have to make sure we're quicker than any incidental forces that might be in the area. Similar to using scrying, but a little bit more advanced.
We may want to distract that particular faction then. Because if we can keep him distracted, at least, that gives them the time to find Ashlyn.
But remember what you said. We don't know how long she's going to be up there. How long do we get to distract that guy for? Days? Weeks?
And also, we can't distract his whole crew.
I will say this.
The
Oh, no, go ahead. My apologies.
whole purpose of the conversation with Dorian is meant to lead to him pulling his forces away from the hunt for Ashlyn and just focus on the hunt for the Qua and the Legionnaires. And eradicating them. That's the point that I'm making. The quicker we start that process, they're going to have the freedom to keep looking for Ashlyn without having to worry about Dorian's people getting involved.
And I suppose the worst he says is no. Or dusts us, either way.
Again, not if we follow the proper protocol.
Frankie's just gonna kind of look at the general group to... Uh-huh.
Yes, that's why I'm electing myself spokesperson. I have rubbed elbows with enough nobility to know how to navigate this.
I'm just worried that we rubbed elbows a lot with this nobility specifically, that he might have a bit of a grudge at this point. I
Against
just
some of
murdered his
you,
general.
Perhaps.
You
Some
were
of you, perhaps. Also, we were required to kill Kelsia. She was an active threat. That's entirely. He's also a soldier type. He will understand that much.
Also,
No,
I somehow think he doesn't like her that much either, but she is useful.
She was a tool, a weapon. His weapon broke. Boo-hoo. Whatever. He'll find another one. It's
That's
true.
not how I feel about my weapon.
I didn't say you were wrong.
Okay, well, we didn't. We weren't saying that, but point being, also, he doesn't have a reason to have a grudge against me. He has
I
no
guess
reason to have a grudge against me. I
It's
was
just
dead
sort of like
when
you're-
my friends pissed him off. Looks
Right, but
directly
you're like
at Reba.
associated with us, right? So it's like,
And I did nothing wrong.
we
I
killed
can
his
almost guarantee
general.
you.
Yeah, but he didn't like her in the first place.
How do you know that?
Because nobody likes
Who
her.
likes Kildea?
A person who really likes a strong general likes Kelsier. And I bet that king really liked his strong general that kept people in line and murdered whoever he asked her to.
He'll find
Because I
another
thought
one.
You trusted me.
There's
I'm
no
sure
lack
he
of
will,
murder
but
hobos in the underworld.
I guess I'm a little worried we already made an enemy. You're free to talk to him. I fully support you. I'm just saying when things go backwards.
And sure,
We
they
are
have the
prepared.
potential of going backwards. Absolutely. Reva, after everything we lived through before I died, the shit we saw, the shit we survived, we fought 2 dragons of the most fucked up sort at the exact same time, and then a lot of us played teeth with a weird little guy.
Well,
and we all came out of that mostly unscathed. I mean, some of us lost teeth.
Well,
I wouldn't
one
know
of
what
us
that's
died.
like, but see, mostly unscathed.
And it's been 20 years. Maybe you might be a little rusty, is all I'm saying. I know you can still turn into a dragon. But it's been a while since I've seen you.
You've spent 20
Honesty?
years out in the fields writing sad poetry. We're just saying your diplomacy might not be what you think it is.
And I'm also saying that this guy might also just not be super open to discussion. Is all I'm worried about. And I care a lot about you, so I don't want you to die trying to talk to this guy.
Johan slowly edging towards the door.
No, Johan's just
free to
watching this
try.
like with bated breath. Like he's like, ooh, the drama. Scandal.
Let me phrase it this way. Cranky, you are a master of disguise. And I'm certain quite... You literally were your aunt for many years. Shut up, you're a master of disguise. Reva,
it doesn't feel like a compliment when it's a genetic thing. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Oh, what part of your
Okay,
genetics let you literally change your skin?
The skinwalker part, like, it's a whole thing.
But were you skinwalker on your mom's side? What happened?
I was born like this?
Yeah, that doesn't answer the question.
No, it does not.
You guys you're a terrible conversationalist. I'm sorry.
I don't know you a family tree. I don't know you.
Okay, fucking whatever.
Oh, all right. Enough.
I'm supposed
Apparently,
to be
I am the cat
my
herder
teammate here. Won't even
again.
tell me who's in his family.
Reva, nobody is required to tell you their family tree. You didn't fucking know I had a brother until he showed up and revealed himself.
And you acted
to be
like
a
I was
secret.
happy about that either. I punched the guy.
Nobody owes you their life story. Okay? Frankie, you're being a shit and you know you're being a shit.
Absolutely.
Listen, we're all good at certain things. I am not built to be a fighter. But this, 20 years writing poetry, that's normal. I spent over 200 years cultivating my craft.
I can't relate. My species lives for 80 years max. That's all I'm saying.
I'm
You spent
simply
a quarter
saying
of what
I'm
time
not
I would get on
rusty.
Earth or on the up there writing poetry.
I'm
At
not
that
rusty.
same amount of time, I didn't name your sword.
What'd you say?
Frankie.
No.
Say it to your fucking chest if you're gonna say it to me.
Frankie! I'm going to put you both in timeout.
Oh, it was my fault now?
You're the adult.
You're an adult too. You better stop acting like it.
It's no fun in acting like an
Okay,
adult.
I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to go looking for Dorian. I'm going to do so in dragon form because I can cover more ground flying that way. Now, if you would like to join me, you're more than welcome to ride on my back. But you have about the next minute or two it takes me to walk out the door and transform into a dragon to stop arguing.
Shotgun.
And do so. What is shotgun?
I don't know anybody even needs a shotgun.
What is a shotgun?
Oh, depending on where you come from, they have these things using combustible black powder. It's, sometimes it's commonly referred to as a 12 gauge.
Do you have one of those?
Absolutely not. Those things are
What-
dangerous.
What about you, Frankie? You have one?
No,
Then why'd you
but
say it?
because the nice lady who gave me this outfit had one. It was really cool.
All right, let's go.
As you're on your way out, Johan goes, "Oh well, in case you were wondering, they are looking for the Sovereign topside, and whatever. You kids go have fun.
Wait.
I'm gonna-
Good guys, bad guys, or both?
I can only assume us. I don't think there's many of them up there doing anything sort of more than shambling."
Elaborate, please.
Okay.
What is the deal? Everyone goes up there and turns into zombies. Do we know what's going on?
No, we don't know what's doing this. It's never happened before. Ever since the sky started raining red. That's when it started.
And you have nobody who knows anything about this.
No, the only thing we know is what we've witnessed with our own eyes, myself included.
You don't have eyes.
The proverbial eyes.
All right, fair enough.
I could still see you with my empty socket peeper. But the point is,
Both impressive
right
and
now-
weird.
the pale horsemen are up there looking right now for the Sovereign, and then trying to find a way to bring her back here like she's supposed to be. And then we have groups all over throughout the Sunless Crossing, waiting for her return. Presumably the same way I came down, which is from a fiery ball in the sky, slamming into the ground with much impact.
Honestly surprised there aren't bigger craters out in the fields.
Oh, you haven't been out there in a while. There's a lot of them.
Fair enough.
But anyway, he reaches into his pocket and he's like, here, take this. I'll let you know if the Sovereign makes it back before you do. And he hands,
All right.
he just holds out a sending stone.
Riva will grab it. All right, well, keep in contact. We'll probably be back soon, unless we get killed by Dorian.
Actually, Johan, do you know where Elena went?
I think she's probably still outside of the house where we all left, as the DM can't remember what the name of the place is off the top of his.
Fair enough.
Last time I saw her, she was in the feast hall.
Okay. Frankie's gonna turn back. So, speaking of disguises, do you think it would make more sense for you two to go to Dorian? And for me to maybe put on a more familiar face that this brand of truth is looking for? To see if she knows anything that's going on?
I have
was
read and written far too many stories where groups have split apart. And also the few times that your aunt and us ended up splitting in any way, shape, or form, things went so very, very
Usually ends up
south
bad.
that
Yeah.
they crashed through every layer of the hells before we were done. So
That's not a no.
That is a no.
You probably shouldn't.
That is, Issa would probably throttle me if I let you just wander off on your own. That is a no.
She is dead. She has gone through whatever line she was going to go through. I'm sure it's fine.
Do we
She
know
has
she's
the
dead?
audacity.
It runs in the family.
So, no on the going to talk to our enemy alone.
I think,
Obviously.
I mean, I'd be going with Johan, so I don't know how alone that really is.
What the fuck is Johan gonna do? Let's get real.
Ow!
Probably tell you guys at least what happened before I got dusted.
Good lord, I'm sorry. Not all of us can be superheroes.
That's
But I
fine.
also have
a
I'm
modicum
not
of
gonna
power.
do anything. I wasn't expecting you to be a superhero, Johan, but let's get real. Whose ass are you kicking?
So
Johan is
as you
wicked at
say
poker.
that, Johan's face switches from jovial to like very stone, empty. Like it's already empty because there's no eyes. But you get the sense off of him that the jovial nature that he has is it's not just a facade, it really is who he tends to be. But his entire demeanor shifts as he looks at you and goes, "Look, I've been here for a very, very long time, and I've survived by not getting involved in certain things unless I absolutely have to. I have died more times than you have lived, and I'm approaching the end of that time frame, and I don't want to go out as a wraith, okay? The
That's
reason
fair.
I don't jump into a fight is because I don't have that luxury anymore. If I'm really needed, I will show up and kick ass. But don't you ever, ever look down at me like that again."
All right. Well, next time. Well, sorry for underestimating you. First of all, and second
And
of all, if
as
you'd
soon
like,
as you say you're sorry, he's like, "All right, good. We understand each other. Now, you kids go have fun. Frankie, if you'd like to come with me to go talk to Elena, I can take you right to her. If not, I understand. There's that age-old thing, you split the party and the other half dies. But, you know, it
as
is what
honestly,
it
it's
is."
less that you I'm worried about. It's more us. I don't know if we want to go walking into Dorian's den with us two alone.
I don't know. Are you planning on starting a fight?
Maybe a little, depending what happens.
No.
If he's like, I'm going to kill you because you walked up to me, I'm gonna start the fight. It's as
I
simple
wish
as
you
that.
would listen when I tell you things. I'm telling you there's a protocol here.
What's the protocol? You haven't
I
told me
know.
that.
I'm going with Bone Daddy. You two have fun.
Unbelievable.
See you later. Bone Daddy out. So, we'll go ahead and we'll cut back and forth to try to make time even for everybody. Just for now, Frankie and Johan will actually be heading towards the big whatever the hell it is. I have
The
two
banquet
maps
hall.
up here. I could just look at it. Let me just look at it
Good.
real quick. I got this over here. Let's see. Nope. Oh wait, yeah, it is. Nope. Nope. Oh, it is. It's Onyx Requiem, I believe. Is where the throne sits.
The Sovereign's Hall for now.
Yeah, there
For
we go.
easy.
The Sovereign's Hall. That's where we're
All right.
headed. If you need to make a stop through the market, we can do that. But I wouldn't recommend it. There's some weird people showing up there as of late.
That's fair. I'm
All
just
right.
gonna be keeping an eye out for anybody who looks
Thus,
specifically in a uniform of party A or B that I would recognize.
cool. All right. So you find you two are making your way off. Augustine and Riva. Let's start with you two. Augustine, I believe you said you were going to step outside and do a whole dragon thing, yeah?
Specifically a adult gold dragon, because that means that she'll be able to not polymorph, but the adult gold dragon can change into a humanoid form, so she can then change into the humanoid form without having to burn another polymorph for them to leave later. Animorph. So yes, Augustine is going to turn into a adult gold dragon and kind of like she'll make sure she has the space for it and like pull in her wings enough and like make herself small enough to fit in that section. And she's going to like turn and fix one giant eye on Riva and just wait.
Riva fully, just from where she's standing, leaps all the way up onto her back.
The growl sounds something like show off, and then she just takes off into the air.
Right.
And she's gonna, she's gonna aerial hunt for. We've got a dragon helicopter hunting for a fugitive right now.
Okay.
We're looking for signs of Dorian's encampment.
Okay. So, as you fly into the air, your kind of soaring above Nox Valar itself, the city proper. There's obviously some faces that are very concerned that a dragon has just taken off from within the city, but they're quickly like silenced as they're like, "Ow," like they're just like, "Oh, it's leaving. Who cares? It obviously didn't start anything. It's done." So, you know vaguely where Atonement Grove is. The information that you have kind of states that the main encampment for the Cursed Guard is out that direction. So, um, let's see here. You're kind of flying blind. You have an idea of direction, but you don't know exactly what you're looking for. As you actually go
Okay.
out over the city proper and into the Sunless Crossing itself, everything looks like an absolute battlefield. There's charred remains of where people have landed. There's sections of the wheat fields that have been completely burned away, as if by spell, magic, and any number of other horrid atrocities that have taken place on the battlefield. But there's varying types all over the place, none of them really wearing anything specific in terms of like a garb. So I'm going to let you, if you want, you can head that direction, and you can do a investigation check at disadvantage to try to find signs of where this encampment might be.
Can
That's-
Riva be helping me and then zero
Yeah.
it out to a regular roll?
Reva, do you have investigation as a proficiency?
No.
Then no, I will not allow the help action.
All right, let me figure this out really quick. Okay. Hey, yo, 21.
All right.
Because
So-
investigation's intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 21.
All right. Go ahead.
Dragon's only got a +3 because I
Oh.
don't keep my stats. I use the dragon stats, right?
Exactly.
Or probably
yes.
more. Yeah.
Let's see here. This is okay. So chapter 3. Go ahead and throw this on here as we begin. Turn this up a little bit. Give a little music as this is going on. So, you see what you think is a trail of cursed guards. Look like they're heading towards Atonement Grove. You kind of circle them. Are you making your presence known? Are you trying to avoid attention? I know you're a big-ass dragon that's kind of hard to miss flying
Yes.
around in the sky, but the sky is also full of chaos. So I'm not going to say they see you outright, but I'm going to let you decide whether or not you try to, avoid getting their attention, or if you just don't care.
And which faction is this again?
The Accursed Guard.
Accursed Guard. I don't think Augustine's gonna go out of her way to like actively stay hidden, but I think she's going to like take a path that's not directly over them, but more like alongside of them and actively like seem to be scanning. Like a dragon's neck is pretty like serpentine, so she's like scanning kind of around them, but not like really focusing on them. So because she's intent on finding Dorian, but she doesn't want to look like she's like on the hunt. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it. So I'll do
kind of like as little of a threat as possible.
Gotcha. So no real stealth, just kind of doing your own thing. I'll just see if anyone actually particularly takes notice. Right. So there's a few people in that line of people that kind of look up and they're side-eyeing you. Just they keep an eye on you to see what you're doing in general. You see them talking to each other. You can't make it out because you're far too distant from them. But they're not diverging from their path. They seem to be heading back. This goes on for about...
So they do seem like it is like an intent path. Like they're following a set path, not they're kind of like...
They're not meandering, no. The only
Okay.
thing that you do notice is every once in a while they'll come upon someone who like has fallen from the sky, and they'll stop, and they'll grab them, and it looks like they're having a conversation, and give or take, a lot of the people that they talk to actually start walking along with them. There are a few people that seem to be hesitant based on the body language, because I'm just going to give that to you because that's wisdom. And there's a few that actually like just get cut down immediately, here and there. But the crowd of people that you're following is slowly growing, and you see that the ones that are obviously a cursed guard are standing around them. They're huddled, and they're all walking towards the same place.
Augustine's going to like kind of bank around to like land further up on the path in front of them. Doesn't like swing her head towards them or anything, but as soon as she lands, she's going to use the dragon ability to shift into her regular everyday form.
Okay.
So the polymorph's still there. She's technically polymorphed into a dragon who is polymorphed into her.
Okay. That's
So
fun.
I think she still has dragon stats, but she just looks like herself, and she'll kind of like hold her hands up in a clear gesture of like, I am unarmed, and just out of the side of her mouth to Riva, don't say a word. Let me talk to them. And don't touch
Do
swords.
anything around here. What the? Whatever.
So as you do that, the mass grouping of them, a large portion of them stop, and a couple of the obvious accursed guards continue walking. It takes about a minute and a half to 2 minutes, and one who looks like they're obviously in charge. They have the ranking of like lieutenant or something along those lines, embroidered on a patch on their sleeve. They walk up and they say, what problems?
No, I haven't seen your king in a very long time, and I wanted to request an audience with him, but unfortunately I do not know where to go to request the audience. I fought alongside of the accursed god a long time ago. I was not a member, but I helped the first time Lacroix was killed. I actually lost my life in that battle.
A lot of people lost their lives in that battle.
I understand that. I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying that is the last time I saw Dorian. I would like to speak with him. I'd like an audience.
Name?
Augustine Chevalier.
He looks at you. Roll persuasion with your dragon stat.
Well, here's the thing. The dragon stats on that match Augustine.
Fine, whatever.
Gold dragons are the charisma ones. So let's see. Persuasion. Here we go. Okay, not as good as Augustine's, but pretty damn good still. Okay. Plus 29.
I'll send a messenger ahead. You can stay with us in the meantime. We'll be heading that direction regardless. But no funny business, Dragon Lady.
I mean, if that's how you want to remember me.
That's
I'll
what I'm
kind of-
calling you, because that's what I just saw.
Yes, it's a wonderful spell called polymorph.
Don't make it any safer.
I was just covering more ground.
Fine. And he goes, follow me. And he starts walking back to the thing. He nods at the guy that came up with him, who immediately casts a spell. Nothing that looks overtly dangerous or anything, and speeds off very quickly up towards what you can only assume is the direction of the Atonement Grove, based on where you are. Says,
I don't know if it makes a difference because some of them might be elven, but Augustine is wearing the dress, the one that's very reminiscent of Fate's armor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that would cause any kind of reaction, but
not necessarily with these two, but with there may be some interactions involved in the people. So the other guy takes off running very quickly via the use of expeditious retreat, and the lieutenant walks you back towards the people that they've been rounding up. The one thing you notice is that all of these people, none of them look like soldiers. They all look like they are just the innocent bystanders of this war. They're not necessarily, being threatened in any way, but they don't look comfortable. So,
I'm sorry, I'm curious. Since when did the accursed god recruit civilians? Untrained civilians?
there's a war, haven't you heard?
Oh, no, I'm fully aware. But, well, I don't know. I guess I thought the accursed god wouldn't quite need to go to the level of hopefully numbers will pull us through this. I always assumed that skill set would put you all beyond that sort of tactic.
I mean, absolutely, if the other side wasn't doing the exact same.
Oh, well, trust me, I'm no friend to the other side, and I may have some solutions for you, but I'll discuss those with Dorian.
The king. Got it. So you end up making your way further on. The other soldier, like it's about 20 or 30 minutes, and the other soldier returns as quickly as he left, honestly, and runs up and says, Dorian said as long as you maintain the peace, he will offer you hospitality while you're there. And I assume this one is with you as well. So the hospitality lent to you is also lent to her. If either one of you break that peace, you will both pay for your transgressions.
Us? We would never.
I'm
The
very
king-
Sorry, that's
civil.
me trying not to smile. That's not Augustine. Augustine has a perfect poker face.
So the lieutenant doesn't know, but the other guy, he looks specifically at Riva and he goes, he knows your face. He knows your face. He remembers yours. He looks directly at you, Riva.
It's pretty memorable.
So that goes on. It's going to be about another 20 or 30 minutes before you actually make it to the encampment. But as you get up there, it starts to dawn on you just how massive this encampment is. It's full of soldiers. They've gotten built up barricades and embankments and trenches that have been created kind of in a honeycomb pattern to definitely disorient anyone that is unfamiliar with the terrain. Very, very World War II in terms of the battle styles of this. So they're leading you through this crisscross honeycomb pattern further into the camp itself. Some of the other accursed guard take some of the people that they've gathered. You see them walk off to the side. They're handed new clothes. They're having conversations, that sort of thing. Nothing too below board. There's nothing like that. They definitely aren't happy to be there, but they're not being outright yelled at, or there's nothing crazy going on.
No mistreatment.
No mistreatment, no. Now with that, you're all entering the accursed king's encampment. Frankie, let's go back to you. You and Bone Daddy Johann have made your way back to Onyx Requiem, where getting back there, you see standing out front is... Actually, before you get there, is there anything you plan on doing? Now that I think about it, it'd be better if you need to prepare anything.
I was wondering, would Johann know if Valen's still, like, for lack of a better way to put it, in residence?
Johann said the last time he saw Valen, he was ordering people around and immediately left the Requiem, with leaving some of the strongest people in charge as he went out to scour the fields for Ashlin's return.
Makes sense. Johann, can I ask an opinion?
Sure. What do you need?
Is it going to be more or less helpful if I end up looking like Ashlyn right now?
I mean, that's probably not going to be a good idea.
I've had worse. Hence the asking.
That's fair, but there's a lot of people inside this city that A, know her very well, and also are hunting her. So you taking on the face of the Sovereign puts you not only in danger of potentially being targeted, but also, well, making an ass of yourself.
I mean, I'm uniquely qualified at that last bit. I only ask because this person wants to talk to the Sovereign and might only have things for the Sovereign. But also at the same time, if people think Ashlyn's back, it might make it so people are looking less out in the fields.
I mean, we could certainly play that angle, but we'd want to let the people that need to know know.
I'm going to put a pin in that until I can find a way to get a hold of Valen then, because he feels like the one who would need to know first.
I mean, we can stop by the barracks first, and you can alert the Nixian guard. They can get a hold of him.
Is it on the way?
Yeah. There's
Cool.
a barracks right outside of the capital.
Cool, let's do that.
Fantastic.
So yeah, quick pit stop, relay that, and then see where that goes.
So as you're on your way there, Johann goes, I figure I might go ahead and give you some insight on this Lina person. She's very blunt, but courteous. So she's very matter of fact. She seems to have a real grudge with this Kelzea person that you all put down.
Hell, I might not have to look like Ashlyn after all.
The one thing I do know is the thing she wanted from Ashlyn was the ability to put a foothold, at least in my opinion, a foothold in the city. But I don't know nothing. She just wanted... They were offering support to the Sovereign. But they couldn't talk to her, so we can't exactly, give them the okie dokie without Ashlyn here.
That's fair.
But she seems very suspicious of people. So if you are going to take on this guise, be prepared to really lean into it.
So fun fact, being a skin changer does mean I have advantage on all of my charisma stats, so...
Oh, I'm aware.
I know you were aware, but my odds are better.
Okay. So, you end up stopping by the barracks along the way. It takes you all about 20 minutes to hit that direction. As you get there, one of the corporals is standing out front. Johann walks up and goes, "Hey! random. Damn it! Where's that?
Jerry.
No.
Jerry.
It's not Jerry. There's actually a name here. I just don't remember. Nope, that's definitely not the right one.
Well, it wasn't Gary before.
No. All right. It's Slate. Hey, Slate. We've got a message that we need to deliver to Valen. On the hush, if you know what I mean. Slate, very no nonsense, just looks and goes, Johan, what do you want? He goes, it's not what I want. It's what we're proposing, but we need Valen in the know so that he doesn't get confused and end what he's doing, if you know what I mean. He goes, just tell me what it is. And Johan looks at you and goes, this is your crackpot idea. You go ahead and tell him.
We have the opportunity to put somebody who's going to resemble Ashlyn in a public place, so that way it's easier to keep looking for her without the lead, whoever is out there trying to kill her when she immediately gets back.
Understood. What do you need me to tell Valen?
I mean, considering he's the one who's got the most invested in finding Ashlyn, it would probably be helpful to have some resemblance of his support for when she comes back and is doing general sovereign stuff until the actual sovereign comes back.
Fair enough. He goes, one moment. He goes, what are the exact words you want me to tell Valen? You have 25 of them.
I was going to say it's 25 words or less. God damn it. Come back to me. I'm going to think about this for a second.
All right, let's go back to the encampment, everybody. So, you all get led into the encampment. There are, so the last time you were out here, everything was sparse. There were fights everywhere, but it wasn't organized. You're starting to realize just how massive this war topside must have been. Unlike the last time you were out in the fields, it is the magnitude of people that have made it down here now is... I can't think of the word for it. It's exponential. Exponential. The exponential increase of people. Not the right phrasing, but whatever. You understand what I mean. It has doubled, tripled, and then quadrupled all over again. And unlike last time, this encampment looks well put together, well defensible, and there are patrols that you see going on. No one is slacking off. Everyone looks like they're doing an assigned duty, and they are organized. The lieutenant walks you forward, and you come to a very modest tent. He goes, hold here, please. He walks inside the tent. You hear some murmuring. And he walks back out probably about 5-10 minutes later and goes, behave yourself. And he holds open the flap to the tent.
Augustine will go in. Is Reva coming too?
I'm just following what you do. You told me to shut up and follow, and that's what she plans on doing.
Okay. So, you make it into the... you make it inside. The tent is modest on the outside. Inside, it's also as modest. You think back to the times that you actually went to the Impossible Spire, when you went to the the kind of the meeting party between sides um, back in the Shadelands. It's very much the same. It's all function, no frivolous nonsense. There is a table sitting in front of you all. It's rather large. It's got what appears to be a makeshift map of the Sunless Crossing and other maps of various sections of the city, um, seemingly taken down exquisitely from a map that was offered to a friendly vampire at some point. Also sitting on the side, and in front of this table, leaned over it, facing away from you all, is a 6'6", graying-haired man. You remember him wearing a crown of like steel or some other like very like non-majestic metal, but he wears what equates to a wooden like crown. Looks like it was carved on his head, and he turns slowly to you and says, "You wish to speak to me?"
Augustine will start off with like almost a quarter curtsy, like a slight inclination of the head. There's still that show of respect, but it's also like we're not in his kingdom, so she's not going to do a full bow kind of thing. But the respect is still being shown.
Riva does a really dramatic, like obviously not serious, like bow.
He looks at Augustine, inclines his head, looks at Riva. There's an obvious like disapproval on his face, but he's nonplussed about it. He's got bigger things to worry about than someone's lack of respect towards him. So he looks at you and goes, "Now that the formalities are out of the way."
I assume you remember me, at least conceptually.
I remember you. You were the one that I was told after the fact. Somehow you gave your life for that of Fate's.
I did. I did it through a deal, actually. But I'm glad you remember me. I know you are more warrior than king, not to give any disrespect to your title, but I'm going to cut through the flowery bullshit and just be frank. You're down here, yes, and as you know, so is the Qua. Now, it is my understanding that you have some sort of intention towards the city now that you've arrived here. Whatever that may be, that's your business. But I think that your attentions would be better turned towards the Qua. And
give me an insight check as you're saying these things.
Okay.
Can I also?
Okay, insight's not terrible. Okay, 27.
Actively realizing I don't have my dice.
Oh no! Come on, Roman, get it together.
I'm going to have to use Roll20 for now.
It's like you're playing in our Saturday game right now.
Well, in that game I don't have to have dice.
There hasn't been enough murder yet for it to be the Saturday game.
It's 17.
Okay, so surprisingly, you both, Augustine, you pick up on it the moment you start like inferring that his attentions might be better suited somewhere else. He's keeping it under wraps, but you pick up on it almost instantaneously. And Riva, it takes you just a second longer that this is not how you want to talk to him. He does not seem like the type that wants to be told how he should or would be better served acting.
Augustine, as she catches it, kind of, I'm sorry, I worded that badly. I fought for you. Now, I don't expect that to mean a great amount. A lot of people have fought for you. There are people still fighting for you. But I fought for you because I knew that you would be better for the city than the Claw. That is a shared enemy. And however you choose to point your attention, I would be remiss if I did not point out that if it's not on Lacroix, he's going to try to take advantage of that. And maybe he can. But don't you think it would be something good to think about? I mean, you've seen what he'll do to see his end. And I don't fucking know how he got back up there, but I can tell you right now that regardless of whether or not you wish to work with us, I will have Lacroix's head on a pike. You loved Fate. I don't know if you still do, but I do love Fate still, and I had to watch him run her through with a sword. So he's dead either way. But I would like to work with you on this, because I think it would benefit us both.
So far, what I've heard is you care but don't care about what I do inside the city, and you want to put an end to Lacroix. If that's the case, why are you here talking to me instead of out hunting him?
Why would I not seek out the help of someone I've allied with before? I'm
Did
not
you-
a warrior. I am a single person, and I understand that Lacroix has a lot of people between me and him.
As do I.
I just believe it would be mutually beneficial.
Potentially.
And I think it worth noting that my intents are already backed by someone's faith in me. And Augustine's going to kind of extend her hand out, not like towards him, but like just in front of her, and summon a spark of Fate's divinity. Like that little bit of magic, just like make it flare a little bit.
Ah, I see. She has not been idle.
No, I don't know what she's been doing, if I'm frankly honest. I don't have the details. I only recently spoke with her, and it was very fleeting. But she does seem to have faith in my judgment.
Yes, she does. Still waiting for how this benefits me.
Has the claw not been a thorn on your side for a very long time? And
He has, and he still is.
so how would it not benefit you to eradicate that threat?
I have agents actively following his movements right now.
How many of your agents have succeeded against him? That is
Right.
no slight against you, Dorian, but you know as well as I that Lacroix is not your average prey.
Of that I'm aware. They are under strict orders to surveil only and report back. Because right now, fortifying my defenses is the best option. First, a show of force, which we succeeded at, followed by a potential deal of sorts.
Show of force, which, yes, admittedly, you did succeed at it for the most part. But also, and Augustine kind of like extends a hand over to gesture towards Riva. That show of force was quickly followed up by a small group of people, strangers to the vast majority of your forces, absolutely demolishing the general you sent out to accomplish that show of force.
I didn't send her out. She volunteered.
She still represented your interests.
She did.
You know that has an impact.
And she did exactly what she was supposed to. You being there was not something we planned on, but so be it. As long as she accomplished her goal, the pawns are in movement. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a brief hiatus as you kind of ponder what's happening here in your next moves. Frankie, have you thought of 25 words you would like Valen to hear?
Yes. So I'm going to send Doppelganger of Ashland available until Sovereign returns. We'll need show of usual support to sell it. Could buy time and space to search. Advise. It's
So
24, I counted it.
No, it's fine. I believe you. So he sends the message. After looking at it and goes, all right. It takes about 5 minutes or so. Thank you, bro. It takes about 5 minutes,
Roman.
and you get a response of understood. Do not bring shame to her honor. And it's not so much in the words as so much as Slate turns to you and his face is slightly pale, and he goes, I just want you to know that last word.
There was a tone, wasn't there?
There was definitely a tone. Please don't make my life harder.
I am doing my best to make everybody's lives as unhard as I can, except for just general assholery. But yeah, understood.
Very well. Johann goes, well, all right. Let's luck be a sovereign tonight.
Is there anything at the barracks that would be closer to what Ashland wears?
No.
You can go raid Augustine's closet.
I'm not trying to dress like your dramatic ass. Different dramatic ass.
It's fashionable.
You're not here. Go away.
So, when you bring this up, I assume you talk to Johann because you know that you can only change your face and not necessarily your clothing. Johann goes,
I can do your face, body. It's just I'm a little scrubby for Ashland.
Fair enough. We've got some fine clothes that we can get you set up with. Follow me. So he leads you into a side door, kind of into like a waiting room, and he goes, "Wait here." And he walks off and he talks to what looks like one of the Nixian guards, and that guard wanders off and comes back a little bit later with a bag.
While they're doing that, I'm gonna start the process because I've got to figure out what my necrotic's gonna be for this nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Hate that dice. That's 9.
9 necrotic damage as you. So no one. This is relatively new for not just the channel, but in general. What does it look like when you transform?
The risk of having this be a really lame parallel. You know when the werewolves in Van Helsing transform and they have to rip their skin off to do it?
Mm-hmm.
That. It's a lot of that. And there's scar tissue the further down into the under clothing parts that you generally would go.
Oh man.
But face, arms, stuff that would generally be like scene are picture perfect, but the rest of it's not great.
So that's disgusting.
You built it. This is on you. And a little on me, but mostly on you.
Absolutely foul. What kind of sick bastard would make this?
Whom indeed.
So, you do the process. What do you do with the with bits?
I mean, everything else here that's died, I assume, kind of dusts. So I'm gonna stare at it for a couple minutes and see if that's what happens.
So as it hits the floor, something you're not used to, especially in the mortal plane, it actually slowly starts to absorb into the ground itself, and becomes part of the scenery. Although the gross visage of like rotten or torn flesh disappears, and it goes back to the color of whatever the veneer was of the floor itself.
Oh, that's new. Not as bad as it could have been. All right, I'll fucking take it.
So,
It's
yeah,
not a pigeon. We're fine.
a couple minutes later, actually,
No, put it back.
fine. You hear tweeting
I
outside.
say as if I can actually bully you into things, but put it back.
No, you hear a sploot behind you. It looks like a pigeon tried to crap on you. But a couple minutes later, Johann comes back holding a sack, and he goes, "Yeah, there's a I guess a closet over there if you want to change. Here's a lantern because there's no light in there. Take your time.
All right.
Also,
Proceeds.
Jesus, I've never seen anyone look exactly like her before, other than her.
That's kind of the goal.
Dang, I
Changes.
missed a good opportunity to be like, dang, Sovereign, you're back!
I suppose doing it in public might be a better opportunity.
Oh, fantastic. I'm going to go wait in the hall. Come join me when you're there.
All right. Go change. Endeavor to look as presentable as she does.
Okay, now I have to address this. This is not a hate crime. It's just a privacy concern, okay? I'm not sending you back into the closet for any specific reason. How dare you?
Frankie
Just
feels
call it
an
as I see it.
unknown swell of support from somewhere out in the like rest of the world. No idea why. Just very pleased all of a sudden.
It's a group of bastards trying to make a fun game here, and everyone's telling me I'm committing D&D hate crime. Anyway, so you go back, you change your clothes. It's finery. It's not your general finery. It looks a little bit more regal. It does look like it is actually some of Ashlin's clothing, not her royal clothes or anything like that, but something
Day-to-days.
yeah, day-to-days. You come out. There's a note on the table next to the door that just simply says, "Come into the main hall, and I and Alina will greet you there." And that's it. It's just signed with a skull and crossbones.
All right.
All right. You find you walk out, and you are greeted as Johann goes, "Oh, Your Highness! I see you made some time. Yeah, I told you I could get an audience with her. It just takes some time." Alina is described in here, so just bear with me for a second, so that I can give you a description of this very stoic individual. Nope, I get to skip that because y'all didn't do that shit. Okay.
We're sorry and you're welcome.
Yeah. The thing of running things that are outside of the campaign proper. She appears very strong, lean, and tall. Brown hair that's cut short in a simple style. Her features are generally plain and unremarkable. Brown eyes, thin lips with a square jaw, unadorned by symbol or seal. Her armor is made of well-tended blue steel. She's wearing wool riding boots and a heavy brown wool hooded cloak. Significantly, any weapon she wields has the seemingly an innate. Oh, never mind. It appears that as if it's imbued with fire.
Okay.
Um, you are a little concerned as to why someone of an opposing faction would be allowed in here with a weapon. And before you can even actually say anything, Johan goes, "We understand, Your Highness. Typically, we don't let weapons in here, but she allowed it to be bound. It's peace bound right now. That's why she actually has it on her. As long as no action is taken against her, she cannot draw this weapon."
Acceptable?
So, Alina, I believe you wanted to speak with the Sovereign. What was it you were trying to do? Alina kind of like shakes her head and kind of dismisses Johann a little bit, and walks over to you and says, "We were hoping." Sorry, I have to. That's not
Get the
Johann
radio
talking.
out.
Radio demon needs to go away. We were hoping that you might have captured Kelzir, but from my understanding is she was dispatched, which makes finding her more difficult. But I was hoping that at the very least we could help you protect this city. It has come to our attention that the accursed King Dorian um, is trying to make a play for the city, and we believe that it's in both of our interests for him not to be able to do that. So we were offering reinforcements if you would like.
You keep saying we.
I am with the
Who do you speak for?
Legionnaires. I speak on behalf of Lacroix. He is the leader of the Legionnaires.
One of the two factions who have been wreaking havoc all over the place that I am meant to protect.
This is true. However, we have most noticeably not been attacking your people.
Can I insight that?
Yes.
$21.
Yeah. He seems to be very honest and straightforward with you. She's not trying to deceive you at all. He honestly believes that everyone that they've been going up against has been the accursed guard themselves. There's and to your knowledge as a player, there's been no movement of the Legionnaires within the city outside of the one incident with Janos and Calzer. At which point you knew that even Janos was not attempting to hurt anybody. He was trying to catch up with Kelzer.
All right. I've encountered one of yours already. Janos, I believe his name was. Has he returned to your group?
He has. He is currently with the Knight Captain as we speak. They are currently making plans, depending on how this conversation goes, whether or not they'll send reinforcements or they'll entrench themselves, at least outside the city, between the city and Dorian. It is far better for us to fight one front rather than two. Wouldn't you agree?
I don't disagree with that. However, despite being a sovereign, I do have to actually confer with the people who lead my people into battles. So this will have to be tabled until I can speak to my captain of the guard.
I will await word then.
Thank you. I do appreciate your offer of assistance. As you can tell, we need all the help we can get.
Of course. I will be right outside. I appreciate your time. And if you do happen to come across Kelzer, please let me know.
I will have words for her, and probably a few other things before I get her back to you, but if we find her first, we will take care of that.
All right. So,
Can I ask Johan to make sure she's set up somewhere while she's waiting, partially to like keep an eye on her and partially because like I feel like sovereigns would probably entertain their guests at least in someplace nice. I'm spitballing here, but I'm doing my best.
no. Yeah. Johan goes, "Oh, no need to worry, Sovereign. I know exactly where we can put her. Please follow me." Ma'am? I don't know
All right.
what your title is, so I'm just gonna be. This isn't even really my job. He just goes, "Follow me," and he just walks her off to the side to what appears to be kind of a waiting area. So, you've bought some time. Obviously, you've made a show. She gets settled down, and you actually see Johan just kind of sitting there jibber jabbering with her, just trying to get any information he can. With that, we're gonna go ahead and head back to Augustine and Riva. Yes. So, Augustine, so far it seems like there's been very little headway made with Dorian. Whether that is intentional or maybe just the conversation hasn't piqued his interest yet, I will leave for you to decide.
May I ask you something as someone who once pledged to your cause?
Did you actually pledge to my cause, or was it merely convenient?
I chose a side. I don't do that lightly.
Fair. Are you choosing a side now?
I'll be frankly honest, Your Majesty. I'm dead and I never got to live my life for myself. I won't be taking orders from anyone. As it stands right now, I have my goals. They happen to align, at least partially, with yours, from what I can gauge. But I wanted to ask what your intentions with the city are. Truly out of curiosity, and I understand if you don't answer.
Given the fact that we are, at least speaking right now, I don't know if I can give you the exact plans because that would be foolish, but sending a message and a show of strength, as it were, to let them know that we are not to be trifled with while we deal with matters of our own. Now, that being said, it is also a place that if we can take, it gives us a strategic advantage.
I mean, I would say you already have that. At least the latter part of it. Yeah, the way the encampment is set up. I feel as though I'm insulting the dead to say this, but I'm also dead, so who cares? Lacroix didn't always employ the most intelligent people. And this encampment alone is a maze, and this is just what you started with. I understand the benefits of the city, but this is a case where I think conversation would be a plausible option. Just from what I've seen of the city. I haven't been in there very long, I will admit to that, but from what I've seen of the city, I don't think it would be a bad idea to gain allies.
Are you proposing to speak on our behalf to work with the Sovereign?
That's something I would be willing to do if worked into a deal with me. Listen, my main goal right now is stopping Lacroix, and stopping Lacroix needs to include stopping his people. Somebody brought him back. I don't know who, I don't know how, but we both know that wasn't meant to be possible.
It hadn't been possible for quite some time. The Well of Souls never allowed for it.
And now suddenly it worked.
There has to have been a reason for it. I don't know what it was, but I do know the one that was responsible for it. And if we ever find him, there will be hell to pay.
Yes, well, right now, who's been found, at least to an extent, is Lacroix and his people. I mean, we've already helped the city. Myself and Reva, and, well, I don't believe you actually. Well, you might know the others. I'm not sure. There's been some weird timeline stuff. You know how magic is. We've been helping the city. We were at that banquet as guests of honor. If anyone might be able to speak on your behalf, that would be us.
And for speaking on my behalf, what do you expect in return?
Easy. You help me in the fight against the Claw. You help us. Because I'll be frankly honest, while I know that not everyone in my group has the fondest opinions of you, I do also know that all of us want Lacroix dead. And a lot of them look at me as the voice of reason. As you've noticed, Reva hasn't tried to attack you, which is not only self-preservation, but also because I convinced her that talking to you and trying to work with you was the best option.
Okay. So while that conversation is going on, Reva, how are you feeling right now?
Eva is like gritting her teeth, trying to not say anything or do anything. She's just like,
I'm gonna see if Dorian can like see that. Yeah. Dorian just kind of like, you don't see Dorian like smile, but there is a glint of humor in his eye when he looks over at Reva.
Betty, fine.
And he looks back at you and he goes, "Very well. I'm never one to shy away from a deal. If you can manage to get the Sovereign, as difficult as I think that may be now, to work with us over the Legionnaires, then I will help you hunt down, capture, and kill Lacroix as many times as it's necessary to bury that
Betty,
arrogant
fine.
fool in the ground once and for all."
I don't think it will be as difficult as it seems, considering the fact that Kelsey is absolutely fucking insane and had already had quite the reputation before you pointed her as a sword. So, I think I can make it work.
Bear in mind,
You
she's
knew.
still one of my generals. I can
I
keep her
will
on a
never
leash.
understand that. Okay, fair. That's fair. Please do, at least when it comes to the city. At least for now. That is a request, not a demand.
He holds out his hand in offer of a shake. In that simple gesture, you feel power thrum through the room. Do you shake his hand and make this deal?
Augustine looks down at his hand, slowly looks up to meet his gaze. Now, as much as you know and as connected as you are, you may have heard the rumor that I made a deal at that end, and I did confirm that today. So understandably, I'm a little bit concerned when these are verbal terms and suddenly there seems to be magic in your hands. I would like that explained before proceeding.
Of course. This is merely us both signing a verbal contract. One that binds us both, similar to the way that it worked in the Shadelands with favors over coin. Meaning, if you keep your word, I keep mine, and there are dire consequences for those who don't.
So just to reiterate, the deal is I speak on your behalf, and if I manage to forge that alliance, which means you are entrusting me to be the representative of your faction despite me not directly answering to you, then you will in turn aid me in hunting the Qua.
Those
Yes.
are the exact terms, yes.
Perfect. One other thing though. So we are clear. This is an alliance in this deal.
Yes.
Not okay.
No subordinates, no subservience, no control. You still have free will of your actions, and should you choose not to do this, there's obviously a downside, but as long as you keep your word and do your best, no harm shall befall you.
I have one caveat to add. My allies fall into that scope as well. Specifically, right, out of character, right now it is Rosina, Reba, and Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Specifically, Rosina, Reba, and Frankie. I don't believe you've met Rosina and Frankie before, and if you have, probably people in a sea of million people you've met. But they'll be recognizable. I want that protection to extend to them as well.
If you wish that protection expressed to them as well, they will also be beholden to the downside if you do not keep your word.
I'll keep my word. And Augustine just reaches and shakes his hand.
All right. So as you shake his hand, you feel a power. It's not malicious in any way, shape, or form. But it is like, so you command immense power, like just by the sake of everything that you've done and everything that you are. This is a power that is, it's like the feeling of having 1,000 voices in your head for a split second, all warring with each other, but turned into a visceral kind of electricity that is there in the palm of your hand in 1 second and gone the next. And in the palm of your hand, and in the palm of his, is the silhouette of a crown. He says, upon the completion of our deal, this shall go away.
Well, aren't you lucky? You got one of the most famous bards in your home city to be the one to plead your case.
I wish you well. Is there anything else?
Augustine's gonna look back at Reva, and I would like to think that Augustine and Reva know each other well enough to have like a silent, like expressions kind of communication, kind of like how siblings will.
Mm-hmm.
Augustine looks at Reva, and her expression is very much, "Are you willing to leave me alone for a moment?"
Reva kind of like doesn't want to, I think. Like, no.
That exact moment, you feel the sending stone vibrate.
I'm going to step out for a moment. I'll be back.
So when Reva steps out, Augustine turns to look at Dorian. I have one other question, person to person, because we are both people.
He looks at you.
I will not act on your answer. I simply want to know, and I want to see if you'll be willing to actually talk about it. When I spoke to Fate, she talked about the possibility of you wanting to use her power. Is that true?
Yes. I attempted to forge a pact with her. And she, of course, declined, saying that she did not agree with my methods. It's one of the reasons she left the city. She felt that the direction that I was taking it was not going to end well. And I felt it was doing just fine, until Lacroix, of course, came back and suddenly found a bone to pick once again.
Lacroix, he's always going to find bones to pick. Okay, so you know that's part of the reason she left. Do you... There was talk of a letter. You were honest with me about wanting to have Fate's power, so that there was talk of a letter. Do you know anything about a letter she might have left behind?
I do.
Did you read it?
No.
Well, it was worth a shot. I've been given information that makes it seem as though it might have been for me. I've been trying to figure that out. I thought you might be a good chance.
I can procure it for you.
How?
You know what happens when we go to the other side. It's just a matter of getting there before someone gets you.
All due respect, do you know actually what happened? Have you seen it? Because when I got killed down here, I was shoved into someone else's corpse.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the reasons Kelzer was the perfect assassin. She relishes going topside. It only makes her more powerful.
I assume you getting that would have a cost.
Do as you promised, and I will see that the letter is delivered to you. And besides, it wouldn't be fair for me not to do it anyway. It was addressed to you, after all. Hence why I haven't read it.
You may not hear this often, Dorian, but you are truly surprising at times. And I don't mean that in a bad way, surprisingly.
I do what I have to.
Thank you for being honest with me. And a parting gift. Because whether or not it still stands, I do believe that you did love her before. She seems to be doing about as well as she can be. Couldn't tell you what she looks like, but she sounded well enough.
Good for her. I assume that we'll probably be seeing her at some point in the future. Seeing as she's chosen her scion. And he turns around and looks back at the table.
Has anyone ever had the courage to tell you that the crypticism can be infuriating?
He looks around just slightly, and you see an actual, smirk on his face, and he looks back at the table.
All right, well, I'm going to go process that and try not to get my hopes up that she might show up. So, I'll be in touch, and we'll turn and walk out to find Reba.
Okay. So, Reba, as you were outside the Sending Stone, you find a quiet place, kind of off to the side where there's not really anybody there. You kind of shoo away some of the eavesdroppers that might be, including some of the people that are both the cursed guards. They step back. They still got an eye on you, but they give you your privacy. You get a message from Johan going, "Oh my lord, they found her. She'll be back. She'll be back in about half a day." Interestingly enough, nope. I'm just gonna let you find this one out on your own, and it just goes dead.
You could, what? You could be a little more specific. I'd like more information.
It cuts back on. Just kidding. No, she's probably about a half hour outside the city. They found her really quickly. Your friend Frankie did a hell of a number. We have potential to work with the Legionnaires.
Oh, that's very interesting. I think my friend just cut a deal to work with the Cursed Guard.
Oh man, I can't wait for you all to describe this to the Sovereign. We'll talk to you later. And it's
Oh,
with
man.
that very confusing conversation with Johan. Augustine, you walk out to see I assume, slightly befuddled Riva. And as you put your stone away, Riva, you actually look at your hand, and it also bears the mark of a crown. Frankie, you don't know how, but after you have walked away and kind of dressed down, taken back to your normal form because the Sovereign's no longer really needed, you actually find that you also bear the mark of a crown on your hand, and you don't know where it came from.
Can I stick with the face until she
Oh,
actually
yeah.
comes back?
Absolutely. Cool. Yeah, but you look at your hand. You didn't notice anything. There was no power. It's just a mark on your hand.
I didn't consent to this.
Well,
All right.
party
Not the first thing in
representatives
this
and all.
place I haven't consented to.
And with that, we will go ahead and end things there, and we will pick back up. Unfortunately, we will not have a game on the 17th. Our next game will be the 31st of this month. So come back and join us January 31st for the next installment of Red to Black. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. And don't forget to join us for City of Illumination tomorrow, where we do more great ideas. Bye!
Almost there.